Hello and welcome back to my channel, The Rugby Guru. Thank you for tuning in today. And today we have a very special guest with us in the studio, none other than Cheetahs fly off, George Lourens. Welcome, George.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Right, George. So let's start this show off by telling us who is George Lourens. Why did you choose to play rugby, and so on?
Yeah, well, so rugby's been a big part of my life since I've been a little boy. Growing up, I used to live probably 50 meters from my primary school's rugby field. So walking up and down to the rugby is just that's where I spent most of my time out of school. So yeah, just it's been a dream of mine to play rugby. I always tell people, even if I didn't play professionally now, I would definitely still be playing rugby. So yeah, a bit of a dream come true actually.
Yeah. So any other sport apart from rugby that caught your interest during your time, or was it just rugby
Oh yeah,
from the
no,
get-go?
no. So rugby from the get go was definitely the main one. But I used to do everything. I used to play hockey, cricket, swimming, tennis, anything that involved the ball, apart from the swimming. But anything that involved the ball, I was lucky enough to be able to try. And yeah, my mom always said, "Let him do everything," and my dad said, "You can see he can play a bit of rugby. Let him play rugby." But I'm very happy to have done everything, and I enjoyed everything a lot. And I'm still grateful to this day because now if you go play tennis or paddle or whatever you I'm capable of holding my own.
Yeah, that's part of your lifestyle outside of rugby, getting other stuff to do, hobbies like playing golf or tennis or hockey, like you said. It's definitely something that every rugby player that plays needs to adapt to because there's a lot of functions outside of rugby where you guys need to play a bit of golf and so on and so on. So, but let's go back to where it all started. You went to Paarlgym in the Western Cape. You played for the A side there. Tell us a little bit more about playing for Paarl Gymnasium and what role rugby played in your life during your time at Paarlgym.
Okay, so I went to Paarlgym from grade one up until matric. So I'm a Gimmy all the way. Obviously, it's a Afrikaans school, big rugby culture. So from day one at Paarlgym, I was molded into to being a bit of a rugby player. And yeah, luckily enough, played A team all the way through from grade one up until matric. And yeah, everyone will say this, especially the guys who went to the so-called bigger schools. But I honestly believe that it was the best place for me to be, and I'm yeah thankful for being able to attend such a great school.
Yeah. Is there a lot of pressure on you guys playing at the school like that, rugby specifically? Is there a lot of pressure on you guys during your school career?
Honestly, for me personally, I never looked at it that way. I never felt it as a schoolboy growing up. You know, you're part of something bigger, but you're still just a schoolboy trying to have fun. The coaches and everyone always said, "Listen, the main objective is to have fun." So for me personally, not. Inter schools is a massive thing. That's the Paul Gimpel boys are game for those who don't know. That is massive. That had pressure. I till this day say that that's the most pressure I felt before any match. But a part of that, yeah, very inter schools very enjoyable as well. But yeah, just not so much pressure. Nothing over the top.
Yeah. So you also played Craven Week for the Western Province. How was that step up compared to actually playing for Paul Gym? Is there a big difference between playing for them and going to a provincial Craven Week team?
So yeah, the Craven side we had was loaded with talent. So I was just happy to be a part of it, just to be in the mix. Um, Game wise, stepping up, like I said, there was so much talent in my team that everything came easy. I was a fly, but because of Damian Willemsen, the absolute talent he had, they moved me to inside center. So Damien played 10, I played 12, Manny Russ 13. So it came easy. Dame People's Gaza always took about three or four defenders, kept them busy. If you give me the ball, the show and go might be on just because other people are looking at other people. So, yeah, it honestly, it felt like it came easy. Um, but yeah, it was a privilege to be a part of that side.
Yeah, you went on to sign a contract with Western Province Rugby, but you picked up an injury that kept you on the sideline for 6 months. Would you say that was a career-defining injury at the time, and how did you cope with that?
Yeah, for sure. Thinking back, I started the first two games, picked up an injury in the second game, and yeah, that meant I was out for most of the season. Came back at the end, but yeah, just wasn't the same. It was the first time I got injured ever, so for me it was luckily enough or fortunately enough for me, but it was hard to come back from that. I had a 1 year contract going into that, and after the injury, I didn't get contracted again. So it was definitely it was hard. Came into a multi setup with a lot of talent. Started at the bottom there again, so it definitely was a hard thing for me to process and to get through. It took me longer than it should have, but yeah, we got there at the end.
Yeah, how was the support system from the Western Province Rugby at the time when you got injured in that 1 year contract?
Oh, no, awesome. I was at the institute back then at Stellenbosch Academy or Stellenbosch Rugby Institute. I'm not sure what it's called now. All of us that were contracted under 19 stayed there, and they, I still believe till this day that they have the best medical setup in South Africa, rehab wise and stuff. So, no, they kept me busy. That's the hardest I've gymmed in my life for sure. But yeah, it's tough being there, not being able to play. So no, the support setup is awesome. It's you can't fault them.
Yeah, you mentioned that there was a abundance of talent in that group. Which players were you competing against at the Western Province at the time when you signed that 1 year contract?
Okay, so at the start, it was like I said, I started. Then Jordan Chart stepped into to playing fly off, and then Damon Willemse was a year younger than us, but like we all know, he's freakishly talented. So he at the end of our season, he started coming into our setup. And then yeah, he eventually he was the reason that I was not playing semis and finals because Dame was playing 10. Yeah.
Yeah, and you, like you mentioned, you went on to play for Marties with also a lot of talent at their disposal. Um, how difficult was it to actually crack the first team lineup in that Marty setup during your time there at Stellenbosch?
Oh no, it took me about 4 years, I think.
Yeah,
Oh well, not for the first team, but to play World City Cup. So when I got there, Chris Smith, who's playing for the Bulls, he was the starting fly off. Jordan Chart was there as well. Oudra van der Bank, Reinhard Fortuin, who's playing at the Cheetahs. So no, it's a lot of talent. So it took me a while. I had to play a lot of VIX, which is Marty's second team. I had to play a lot of VIX rugby, which I enjoyed a lot. The coaches there is still till today friends of mine. So no, it took me a while, but yeah, I learned a lot of lessons through that.
yeah. So yeah, we mentioned things went easy. You playing first team for Paulgum and then also Craven Week. How difficult was it to change your mindset to work your way back to the top after that injury now with Marty's and all the talent that was at the disposal?
Well, luckily for me, like I said, I love rugby. I would still be playing even though I didn't uh, turn professional or whatever. So for me, it was just always staying in the grind. To be very honest, I could have worked harder gym wise and especially now realizing what you have to do to be a professional and to be at the top level. For sure, in those years between 20 and 23 or whatever, I could have worked harder, which I'm. Yeah, well, you can't take it back, but it's something that I would do differently. But yeah, and then when COVID came, it's when I realized, listen, you've probably got one more shot at this. If you're not going to be up to it physically, you're not going to make it. So yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and after you left Marty's, you had a stint at the Boland Cavaliers. How was that for you? Tell us a little bit more at your time at the Boland Cavaliers.
Yeah, so at the time after the Varsity Cup at Marty's, there was no club rugby because of COVID, but because Boland is a professional setup, the first division still went on. Coming from Paul, Wellington's around the corner, so
Mm.
I obviously had a bit of time. Phoned the coach at Bollard and said, "Listen, if you need someone, I'm available." Went through for a couple of trainings, and yeah, luckily I played a bit, and it was a really enjoyable experience. I have to tell you, the way the Boland plays rugby suits my game to the fullest, and yeah, I made some good friends that I played against the other day, and it was enjoyable to have a beer with them and stuff afterwards. Just listen to the story. So yeah, very grateful for that chapter in my life as well. It was different because you with Paul Gim and Marties, you used to flying all over and being treated. And then with Boland, you get on a bus and you drive for a day and a half, and then you play the game and you drive a day and a half back. So yeah, it was something different, and yeah, grateful.
So from the Boerland, you went to the University of the Free State, played for Shimlas in the Varsity Cup, and that's where everything took flame again for you. You were voted Varsity Cup Player that rocks in 2022. Tell us a little bit more of your playing time with the Shimlas.
Yeah, so like I said with Boland, the Shimlas is also a attacking brand of rugby, which suits my game. Coach Andre, I was actually after the Boland, I thought, okay, well, it's time to start working now and become be a grown up, you know. But Coach Andre Trudeau at the Shimlas saw that I was playing for Boland, and he knew I had another year in me, so he phoned me, asked if I would maybe want to join, and yeah, till today the best decision of my life. Coach Swayze the Brain was also in the mix as a director of rugby with Coach Andre as the coach, and Tian Liebenberg as the forward. So that was to me, yeah, incredible coaching staff. They gave you all the freedom in the world, made you think different about the game. I always they gave you the freedom to come in on a Monday and say, "Listen, this is what I saw," or not a Monday. Well, that would be a Wednesday back then, but
Yeah.
to say, "Listen, this is what I saw. This is what I think we can do." And they encouraged that a lot, and we used a lot of the stuff that players came and brought to them. So yeah, it was an awesome time, and yeah, good mates as well, mate from there.
Yeah. What moment in that Varsity Cup with the Shimlas would you say is your most memorable moment?
Yeah, okay. So the second game for our first home game, we played Marties at Shimla Park. Um, Obviously, my old club. So well, I didn't get as much playing time as like I would have, or like I would have liked to. And then yeah, we were ahead on the scoreboard, but we were 13 man against 15. We had two cards, and yeah, defended for about 20 phases, got a turnover, and I ran in 60 meters to score the winning try. So that was definitely probably the most memorable moment for me.
Yeah, that must have been a very sweet moment coming from the Marties and then winning it for the Shimlas against your old team. After that, the Cheetahs phoned you and offered you a contract. Um, what's it been like signing with the Cheetahs? How has it been different from where you've been previously with the Boerland? I know you mentioned things were a little bit different. So take us through the things that goes on with the Cheetahs, how the normal daily life of being a cheetah is.
Yeah, so it's Boland back when I was playing there. I think they're a bit more professional now, but they were full on semi pro. With the Cheetahs, we fully professional. So it's a 9 to 5, if you understand what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
you get in at 8 and you leave at 4. So no, it's been brilliant with the Cheetahs. I've extended now as well, but I've been there for 2 and a bit years. Awesome, just walking in day one, you see Fronstein and Ruan Pinot sitting there, and you know, like you were these guys now. You got to step up your game. So no, it's been brilliant. We've been overseas. We've played in Australia. We've played France, Italy. So yeah, for me, absolute dream come true, and yeah, just happy to be here.
Yeah, the first couple of seasons at the Cheetahs must have been quite challenging with players like Ruan Pienaar, Francois Steyn, and Reinhard Fortuin. How was the competition like to compete against guys like that?
For me, coming out of Aussie Cup, just it's you can learn so much from those players. the guy who's playing ahead of me at the moment actually was Siamasuku. He's tearing it up at the Sharks and he's in the box squad at the moment. So yeah, it's been brilliant. You want competition like that. You want guys that betters your game. Lourens was playing 9 at the time, but he's the best kicker of a rugby ball I've seen in my life. So you try and keep up with that. And like they say, if you shoot for the stars, maybe you fall on the moon. So even if you maybe can't get to his level, if you just try and keep competing, you might get higher than you ever would have.
Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, you've signed on until 2026. What is your goal for the next couple of seasons with the Cheetahs?
So for the last few months, I've been a bit of a regular starter, and I would like to continue that. We are a young backline. The forwards have got a few old guys, but especially with Ruan finishing up now. I would like to become a senior part of the team. I've played almost 30 games now, so I want to become a regular starting fixture, but also a bit of a leader in the squad and just play my best. You can't do anything if you're not playing well. So I want to play well. I want to take the union forward. We want to get into a major competition. We have signed with EPCR now for another 2 years, which is brilliant for us. But that's also just half of it. So yeah, we want to get into something as big as possible as soon as possible.
Absolutely. So, yeah, with the Cheetahs, like you mentioned, you guys now signed on for another 2 years in the EPCR Challenge Cup. How's the mindset like with the players and the coaches? Because we obviously know that guys like you would love to compete in bigger competitions like the URC. Um, is there an understanding between the player and coaches if another offer maybe comes on the table for you guys to move on to another union?
Well, some of the guys have taken opportunities like that. We have got a bit of a deal with the Ospreys, the Welsh side.
Yeah.
So a few of our players have gone over on loan there. But I know with the Free State, we're trying to build something that we can take forward for the union. So some of the guys have left. I won't say there's an understanding between coaches, but they are open to guys bettering their careers and they don't hold you back. But
Mm.
yeah, we do understand that we want to take the union forward. So yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned that you can play both fly half and center. Which position do you prefer playing? And also, do you think your versatility is a positive or a negative? Because we've seen a lot of players being switched around between positions and not settle in one. What's your opinion on that?
No, for me, definitely fly off. I want to play fly off. I have luckily, well, from the bench, I've played a bit of center, but I've only started at fly off for the Cheetahs. I think they only see me as a fly off. I could cover at center, but mainly fly off. I think it's a good thing. I understand what you're saying about it. It could be to your disadvantage, but it's a good thing to be able to play a lot of positions. It helps the team a lot. So personally, you might miss out on a starting selection, but for the team, it's brilliant to have guys that can play multiple positions.
Absolutely. What would you say is your X factor that you bring to the Cheetahs team?
Well, I think that I identify space quite early, or quite well. And then also the ability to take the ball to the line. There's a lot of fly-offs in world rugby who's just a link and just shifts it on, which is necessary at times. But the ability to hold a few defenders and just create more space on the outside.
Brilliant. So now you've played in the SA Cup, you've played in the Curry Cup, you've played EPCR Challenge Cup. Which moment or moments would you say have stand out for you as a player so far?
Well, I think our victory against the Sharks in December of last year, that was a star-studded Sharks lineup with, I think, about 10 Springboks. I'm not sure, but we beat them here at home. That was probably the biggest standout for me so far. Obviously, winning the Curry Cup. Personally, I didn't play in the final, so it's not the same. You win it as a union, and you're happy and you're part of it, but you want to be on the field. So hopefully we can get that this year. We are part of that. But yeah, that Sharks victory was massive for us as a group.
Absolutely. Were there any specific players or coaches who influenced your playing style and development?
Yeah, well, it's hard to single out one, but like I said, back at Marty's with Harvey's was coaching the first team, who was the first coach at the Cheetahs. So yeah, he's had a big influence in my career. But I would say the biggest was his name is Ian Campbell McGahey. We used to call him Miyagi. He's coaching at Paul Roos now, but yeah, he's always someone that's backed me all the way. He was the seventh coach at Marty's as well, the second team coach, the Vicks coach. So yeah, he's believed in me. He's believed in the way that I play, and yeah, he's helped me immensely throughout my career.
Brilliant. So, last question before we end the interview. What would you tell to any aspiring rugby player that's coming through the ranks? Do you have any motivational message for them, um, taking your situation in consideration from where you started and from where you are now?
Yeah, for sure. I think for the younger guys out there, it's not going to be smooth sailing all the way. I can promise you that. It might look like it. Mine was very smooth up until the injury, and then yeah, you got to keep going. You can't give up. It took me after the injury. It took me 4 years until I actually started playing Varsity Cup, and then the year later you in it. Like I said, I was so close to calling it and starting to work, and then yeah, you just that last push just gave me an opportunity to do what I love. So don't give up. Keep on going. I know it's easy to say, but the next opportunity might just be around the corner.
Well, thank you so much, George, for coming on to the show. We're going to leave it at that. And thank you for everybody that is tuned in to watch this video. Until next time, guys, this is the Rugby Guru, George Lourens. Until next time, cheers for
Cheers.
now.